Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you all yet again another Arrow episode review right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly, as always, I'm here to bring you the latest in this week's Arrow episode review, and this is my review of Season 1, Episode 13, entitled Betrayal. Now, general thoughts on this week's episode. This week's episode was decent. It wasn't bad, but to me, it didn't really live up to the previous 3 episodes. It seemed like ever since the break, each episode we've been getting for the past 3 weeks was pretty good, and offered something different or something we hadn't seen before. But this week's episode more or less was more along the lines of the earlier episodes, like say episodes 4 or 5 or something like that. Like it wasn't really anything special. And it didn't, nothing in this episode except for the Slade Wilson reveal was really special about it. I mean, okay, we had Laurel and her relationship with her father being more strained and stuff like that. But I mean, they get into an argument every fucking episode, so nothing different there. This was hilarious. The whole thing with Laurel and Tommy, like Tommy getting mad at her because she quote unquote lied. Last I checked, Laurel never lied to Tommy about being in contact with the Hood. Sure, she didn't tell him, but last I checked, she never lied to him about that. So I could be wrong on that, but if I'm not, then somebody fucked that up right in this episode. Just saying. But I mean, even the thing with Laurel and Tommy, I mean, fuck, we've seen their relationship be strained too, so that wasn't anything different. And then the whole thing with Oliver. Okay, now all the stuff with Moira, we got Diggle, spying on her. Oliver doesn't want to hear it. Yada yada yada. How is this any different than what happened with Diggle 2 weeks ago in episode 11, Trust But Verify? It's the exact same thing. It's just the roles have switched. So that's not even anything special there. And then especially when you take in consideration that we've been knew about Moira's affiliation with whoever the hell it is she's with, Tommy's dad and whoever the hell they're working for. So Oliver's pretty much just now getting the bat with that. Now he's finding this out. But we've known this information since what? The end of the first episode. So yeah, once again, nothing really special. Like I said, it wasn't a horrible episode by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't horrible at all. But the target in this week's episode, I mean, okay, he's some powerful goon who has all these plans, but he doesn't even do anything. I mean, he never does anything in this episode. Never. So he doesn't amount to anything. Yeah. Nothing really special. So, like I said, this episode, decent. It wasn't bad. It didn't bore me by any means, but it was nothing special. It was just decent. And as I mentioned before, the one thing I actually did like was when the reveal about Slade Wilson, which that brings up so many questions I have about how they're, where is this story going to go as far as, the flashbacks we're getting about Oliver being on the island? Because honestly, Yao Fei, Deathstroke, and hell, even Green Arrow himself are characters that would, I'm not too versed in their mythology. So, I know about the characters, and I guess I know more than the casual viewer, but I don't know the ins and out of those 3 characters' mythologies, their respective mythologies, and then their collective mythologies. I don't know enough about that, so pretty much all I have is speculation at this point. That's all I have is just speculation and theory, but nothing that's based in source material. Which is cool, because that means then I'll be regardless. I mean, we already know that the show doesn't stick to the Green Arrow mythology. We already know that. So it'll be kind of interesting knowing that, you know, what little I do know about these characters' mythologies. It will be interesting to see how, you know, how it plays out in the series. And hey, if they do borrow from the comics, I won't even know about it. So it'll be even a bigger surprise if I find out that they pulled something that was source material related. But all in all, so those were pretty much my thoughts on Betrayal. Like I said, it wasn't a bad episode. It was pretty much decent. It wasn't anything special. And in comparison with the previous 12 episodes, it's certainly probably at the bottom. Yeah, leagues away from being the best episode. But with that being said, that's going to wrap up this week's Arrow review. I want to thank you all for joining me again this week. And in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on this episode. Now, what to keep an eye out for later this week. I have the discussion of the week. I'm still not sure whether or not that's going to be my group discussion or if that's going to be another solo vid. And then the 2-part Q&A, which I have decided to push back until later this week, because I was planning on bringing back the OAW podcast, and then found out I'm gonna have to hold that off until next week. So the Q&A is being pushed to this week, and the podcast hopefully will be back next week. And yeah, also guys, don't forget Totems #1 now on sale all across digital platforms. Links are in the description box below. With that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and until next time, peace.